here. So I have my best friend Rachel today, and we're gonna tell you how we did flowers for her wedding. I have worked here for several months, and I kept getting really curious. Like, of course I'm telling these brides that it's so easy, we're making this content, we're showing them how to do it, but what does that actually look like in real life? So I recruited my best friend, who is luckily getting married, and we did her flowers together.
So I've known Michela for about 10 years now, and she has always been full of all kinds of harebrained schemes as long as I've known her. So when she said that we were gonna do my wedding flowers, just us, with no adult supervision, I was a little bit worried, a little bit apprehensive, but it was actually really easy, and I walked away from this experience just feeling really proud of myself. And when we got to my wedding, everybody was like, oh my gosh, your flowers look so good. And I was like, thanks. It was super easy and it was all us. So I'm really thankful for Flower Moxie.
In this video, you'll get to kind of follow us through the journey of us doing these flowers, having several mental breakdowns in between it, and kind of watching the process, and we'll kind of go throughout and reflect on how we did. All right, today's the day. We're here at Air Cargo. I'm not gonna lie, it looks sketchy as hell. Rachel, you excited?
Excited, a little bit nervous, a little bit unsure, but excited, yeah.
I'm excited. I think it'll look good. So we're gonna go in there, get the stuff, and then unpack it at home. So follow along with us, I guess.
Pick up an order for Lastly.
Lastly,
Yes.
I've got 2 boxes, it looks like, right here, about 40 pounds. It looks like it was all prepaid. So I just need you to sign. That keypad's going to come up here in just 1 second. When it comes up, if you would just sign.
What's the last
and
4 digits,
hit
Dave?
accept. It is 5985.
All right,
5985. 2 pieces, please, sir. That is beautiful. All right, we'll print you a copy right here. So, get a copy of that for you. He is getting those out of the cooler. We always like to keep all our fresh flowers in the cooler.
Oh, fantastic.
So we got a copy coming off right here. Most of the time when they pick up, after you sign here and I print you an airplay bill, what we will do is we'll bring them right out here to the dock.
Okay.
If you back up right there next to the red ramp,
Okay.
to that center door, we will get you loaded up. I'll print your copy right here.
Okay.
And nothing to it. All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
You ladies have a great day.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Look, and it just like, it fits. It fits. I'm so happy it fits. So we went through this process and I was like, Rachel, we have to take the master class. Amy says, like, it's everything. It will show you how to do it. We have to take it. So we sat down a couple nights and went through it all together. I was like, is this really gonna help us in the end? What did you feel like?
I felt like it was really helpful. I think that it was really important that we did do the master class, because once I actually got my hands on stuff, I felt more prepared. I'll be honest, I really didn't want to do the master class because I felt like I had so much going on at the time and it was very overwhelming. But I'm glad that I did, because I think that it's important to do them so that, you know, everything
You
looks
get there
good.
and know what to
yeah,
do,
it
yeah.
looks good and it, you know what to do, and you're not freaking out trying to figure out
Right.
the day of.
Or just like the vessel thing. Like we spent a lot of time on vessels, right? So I was thinking we have to get these vessels from here, and I have this many vases, and we have this many things. So instead of just kind of freeballing it and going to Walmart and buying $50 worth of little baby bathroom trash cans, which I would do, I would not have a problem doing that. We could look at the list and say, this is what we need, not overspend, not be overly anxious about it. We can feel really good about it. So that was really the most helpful part for me.
Hey, it's prep day. We got everything sectioned out and we're ready to go. Very excited.
Just a couple of observations so far. The instructions are very simple, but they do take quite a bit of time. So like yesterday we were doing kind of all of our prep and I was like, oh, it's easy. You just cut it and do this and that. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this took 4 hours, which is good because it's done right. But keep that in mind when you're kind of planning your day. Also, double the amount of space you need. We got all these flowers. It was like, well, we need a couple tables and this and that, and like they're everywhere over my girl's house. So,
And then wear gloves also.
big facts. Okay, so I want to tell you about like the best purchase ever, which is this little mobile trash can. Okay, Amy was like, "You're gonna need it." I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then it's here, and now it's so easy to take everywhere. Holds a ton of greenery and stuff. Like this is day 1 and 2's trash already. So super convenient, and you can push it all the way down and like take it to you like on the venue and everything. So highly would recommend. Like it's great. Rachel's off being the bride, kind of getting those final details taken care of. So today we're making the bridal bouquet. I'm nervous, excited. We've got our kind of greenery prep, so I'll kind of show you like that process. But essentially, like we've left some big pieces and left this part out here. We've got my sticky note system where I put like all the flowers are kind of set aside for her. So we'll just get into it. So I'm building this background piece. Amy always says like, don't be afraid to get like really wild and sexy with it. And wild and sexy are my middle name. So it's one word, wild and sexy. So don't be afraid of that. Also, kind of this process has been like learning it's not going to be perfect and fantastic the very first time, every time. And giving yourself grace and saying like, okay, attempt 1 was a little rough. We're going to try attempt 2 and going through that process. So. Also, I really like whatever this is. I don't know what it's called. I'll put it in the video later, but highly recommend.
Okay, that's a goatess, by the way.
This
The
is a
purple one.
goatess?
Mhm.
Oh. Stripping off kind of the bottom because we don't want this to cover her face, because I realized like I could go insane, and then I was like, wait, we gotta reel it back. It's about Rachel's face and also Seth's face. So, like, it keeps freaking twisting and turning. And it's just gonna twist and turn until all of eternity, or what?
It probably will. It'll be a little bit easier when you get more flowers, because then they won't have as much room to twist and turn. Right now it's like you're only holding like 3 items, so like 5 stems. So
I'm like getting nervous. I have wanted to give up several times during this process. Not today, but other days. I was like, I'm just quitting. I quit. I'm done. we done? Like, I almost feel like I have a lot of flowers left over.
Yeah, I feel like you could add a little bit, yeah, maybe a little bit more on the other side.
This side?
Nope, other side. Well, I mean, I think that flower could go on this side. And then maybe do like, I don't know, something else on the other side. Yeah.
All right, so we've cut the stems all pretty close to the same length. FaceTime the bride, she's so excited about it, which made me feel really good about it. We've got texture, we've got green and dark and light, and feeling really good about it. So just an observation, Amy makes it look so easy in the videos, so just don't get down on yourself if it's a little bit more difficult and you have to try again and place it up and pick it down, and eventually you'll get to a beautiful product. So, feeling good. Sprays here. I'm pretty excited, but my gut says it could get messy, so we've got a towel on the ground and a dog. We've got a towel on standby, just because I don't want to be messy. I'm going to put a whole thing in because they need to stay wet. So we're going to start here and go slow, kind of try and hit the foam itself and not the flowers. Oh, okay. And it's going in pretty good. They're like, oh, yeah, okay. Yep, they're in the back, okay. Yeah, it's just like watering your regular flowers, I guess. This is really important because if you don't water this, and in the morning, it's event day, they will be dead, according to YouTube and Amy. So, yeah, we have a little lickage. Okay. See, towel on the ground was helpful. Yeah, and when you touch this, it's so wet. And when it's wet, it pushes like down and you can feel it. So don't be afraid to get messy in pursuit of perfection in your wedding flowers, because you can clean up water, but you can't revive a dead flower. And right here, I'm using bottled water just because I don't have like a gardening tool. But you can use like a, you know, what am I trying to say? Watering can. You can use a watering can if you need to use a watering can, or would like to. Just go low and slow so it has time to absorb. Also remember to hydrate yourself during this wedding process, because if you don't, you will wake up on wedding day also dead and very tired. So on the day of the wedding, we get there, and this is kind of my one regret that I wish I would have done for this wedding, is I wish I would have made like a more detailed to-do list, because the to-do list existed in my brain, but nobody else knew what the to-do list, so everyone was kind of coming to me like, okay, Rachel's getting ready to go be the bride, like what should we do for this? Like, what should we do? And I was like, well, we have to put out the chairs, we have to put out like kind of create an aisle with the flowers, which I feel like turned out really good. That was kind of a last minute decision. We have to affix the arch sprays, which we did outside. It was too windy, so I brought them inside, rebuilt them. I was really thinking it was going to be so terrible, but I did watch the arch spray video about 50 times, so I knew what to do when it was time to, like, when it was really crunch time on the day of, and like we kind of had a little like outline of what each table was supposed to look like as well, which I think was very helpful when it was time to flip the room. Do you have any day of thoughts besides, oh, I got married that day?
You know, that was my main thought is, oh wow, I got married that day. I honestly feel like it went really well. I also have to say though, that was by design. I was not involved in any of the stress.
Yeah.
But no, I think it went really well. I was really happy with how everything like ended up looking and panning out. I feel like because we did have like everything kind of sectioned off and like a game plan before we went in, it was so much easier to execute.
Absolutely.
And you know, when you have like groomsmen staring at you like, I need a job.
It's like, I got jobs.
Yes, it was very helpful to be like, all right, pick up a couple vases and go put them over there.
They go on the table. And then like, of course, like, you did have the attitude of like, hey, I'm getting married today, whatever happens, happens, but like, I'm getting married today, I'm pumped about it. So the attitude of like, I'm gonna let Michela handle this and not be like really control freak about it and be upset and really just going through this diagrams like they're the Bible. Like, instead you got to like kind of enjoy like, I'm getting ready, so I'm using my makeup. And you did have like a solid team that was like, okay, we're gonna execute this, we know what we're doing. Like, it doesn't just solely in Michela's brain, but everyone was really there to help and was like pre-warned. I feel like we kind of talked about what would happen on the day with everyone who was helping us. So even though that to-do list did not exist, like in a physical form, everyone kind of knew like we're gonna have to get to the venue at this time and we're gonna have to do all these things and this is how we're gonna flip the room when it's time to flip the room. And I felt really good about that.
I think the most stressful part of like the day of was having to switch the arch sprays from being outside to inside. But honestly, it looked great. Like, it was just windy and it wasn't gonna happen that day. But I just feel like because it's just like such beautiful pieces that you can kind of be more versatile and like they can be the centerpiece. And so you don't like have to have that like that arch
you don't
that
have
I was
to
wanting
spend
outside.
like all this money to like drape the barn. Like, you've had these beautiful flowers and you can like relax into the simplicity of the design that you've already paid money for and been excited about, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think that was probably my favorite thing was I just feel like all of the arrangements and all of the pieces just had that like middle ground between like simple and like sweet, but also like
they look professional. They look good. Like, I was really like, I was kind of scared they'd like, okay, here's how they look in pictures, here's how it looks when somebody who's not a Pinterest pro does it. And like, they look great. I was so happy with them. And like, I know you were in your room like getting ready and I didn't want you to be stressed about it, but I was like outside crying, like, I have to do my makeup and my hair isn't curled and I smell like a barn. Not because the barn had a smell, because I was sweating. But like, in the end of it, like, I was happy to be the person for you that could be stressed out about it, and I think that's a good like place. Like, don't have your mom, don't have your sister do it. Like, everyone who's in the wedding needs to be doing something else. Like, this is not saying you have to have a day of coordinator. Call your girl who's like 15 minutes early to every appointment. Like, you know her, she can go out there and she can execute your to-do list for you. Which, like, that's my like one regret is that Rachel looks like stunning in these photos. She looks so beautiful, and obviously like I'm a huge crybaby. So I had been crying from like the time that I woke up to the time I went to bed because I was like so tired and so like stressed out, and I was so happy Rachel had this beautiful wedding. And like, I think I just cried my way through the entire like best ladies speech in the ceremony, and like over Rachel's shoulder, I was making eye contact with her hubs, and like, we're good friends, and we're both crybabies, and he's like, and I'm like, like, I'm standing in front of like everyone I know, like, I can't like really ugly cry, but I ugly cried when I got home, so it's good.
No, it was great, because there's a picture right when we got like married for the first time, and we're having the first kiss, and like, we're standing there in the center, and then you're off to the side, ugly crying and screaming, and then Seth's best man is also off to the side, ugly crying and screaming.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt very loved.
That's good. That's what you need to feel like. So that's great. I'm glad that my ugly fountain could do that for you. And then like, I look at some of the bridesmaid pictures, and her and Jenna look really good, and I look like this like crazy lady that kind of snuck onto the scene. No, it's good. I was really happy though.
Yeah.
I went into this kind of sweating, kind of clenched, like really stressed out, and then I came out of it like so happy, so pumped with like all the results, like everything about the day was so perfect. Like, I might be more excited about how your wedding went than mine went, because I had so much like personal investment into it. Like I did those arch sprays, I affixed them to the side of the barn. It was all me. I was really happy.
You're like my stage mom.
I am your stage mom. I'll be your stage mom for the rest of your life if you want. I'll be like, Rachel's about to have this baby. I can't.
Where's the go back?
I'm like, we're just gonna push through the contraction. She's like, please be quiet. So it's totally fine. So kind of after the wedding, we're here. It's been a few months. We can reflect. What are your feelings? Like, what was really hard? What was absolutely like, was it worth it for the money that you paid? Like, all those good things.
I definitely think that it was worth it for the money that I paid. I have been a Terracotta girl since like 2017. And so I was very excited to do the like Terracotta package. It all looked so good. I didn't really have to put a whole lot of like thought into it because you like see it on Pinterest and it looks so easy, but you know, to go into it without like any kind of like guidance or structure that Flower Moxie gives you, I would have felt really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to just have those like pre-made.
The recipes were good. Like, I was really excited about the recipes because like I obviously look at the recipes every day, but actually doing them with my own hands, I was like really apprehensive going into this. And of course, like we're making the video, like we want to provide the juicy content, the real for you guys. But I was really scared that I was gonna just like, everyone look so bad and just be like, you don't get to work here anymore because you can't arrange flowers, which did not happen. I kind of went in with so much stress that it, like I would finish like working with Rachel today, I go lay in my bed and I'm like, I wonder what the flowers are doing right now. And like, I just was not like sleeping super well. I was really stressed out about it. And like looking back, if I were to do it again, I would say to myself, like, take several chill pills. Like the flowers are fine, they're chilling, they have water. Have you been drinking water? And just like taking the stress off of myself, because it is a fairly simple process and the videos like literally break it down step by step. So we would be sitting there making it and I was like, I'm not really sure how to do this. Let's watch the video a couple times. So you can watch through them as many times as you want, or you can watch through the reels or the whatever to kind of gain that specific skill. And so me, myself, I'm not like the DIY queen of Oklahoma City. Like I'm just kind of harebrained and like, oh, I'm gonna do a craft, and then it kind of turns into something really ugly. But with this experience, like it was very straightforward. So I felt really comfortable, like how they looked when we got there. I was really pleased. Okay, so we have talked a lot about what went really well and what we were excited about. Was there anything you felt like just didn't pan out right and you were really sad about it or anything like that? Like, it's just between all of us besties. It's okay.
No, honestly, I felt like the whole thing went great. I feel like I kind of just floated along through the whole experience.
That's
just
what we
being
wanted.
like happy and just like having instructions to follow, and I can follow instructions. So no, I really feel like the whole thing went really well.
Yeah, glad. Like my only thing is I insisted that I would put the art sprays outside because the wind would eventually die down and it wouldn't abuse the flowers. That was a lie. I lied to myself. You don't have to lie to yourself. Just leave it until you know what's gonna happen. It's okay. And then we did come up with like one really good hack that I felt really good about. So we would put the jars, like this is our table here, and we put the jar at the end of the table, and then we knew how long we wanted the stem to be, so we could cut from like the base of the table.
Yes.
That was like galaxy brain moment for me. That might be my best contribution to society my entire life. But I felt like no major scares, like nothing that you couldn't handle with like just a little bit of like having some grace with yourself and a little flexibility and patience and things like that.
And I think that's important too. I feel like you kind of have to have the mindset of like, while it's going to be beautiful, it's not going to look like a Pinterest picture, and that's okay.
Because it's real life.
Yes, and there's like beauty in that in and of itself. And I just really liked how, because we were doing it, and I mean, I'm not a professional, so everything looked a little bit different, but I liked how it all came together.
But at the end of the day, your wedding was also different than anybody else's wedding on the planet, because one, it's your wedding, like you're marrying this specific person on this specific day. It doesn't have to look like Mary Sue Grace's wedding on Pinterest because she married her dude, or maybe she didn't, maybe it was a style shoot. So like, it's totally like a facade, and that's okay. Like you can pull inspiration from these photos, but at the end of the day, like you're gonna have something unique and different and really exciting, and I would be revelry in that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you were gonna say, like the title of our video, like what we're trying to communicate to you is, how hard is it to DIY your flowers? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like real hard, not real hard, what's your go-to?
I'm gonna say like a 3.
For serious?
For serious, yes. And I'm only giving it a 3 because I personally am not very good at math.
Okay.
And so having to calculate your vessels was a little bit difficult for me, but that's a migraine thing. So I really felt like the whole thing was really easy. I couldn't have asked for anything else, honestly. Anything better.
I'm so glad to hear that. That makes my heart so happy. I would say, like, if ordering DoorDash on your phone and getting it delivered to your house is like a 0.5 because you literally have to press 5 buttons, this is a 5 because you have to press more buttons and you actually have to do something with it. But it's not a 5 in that like you should cry about it, that's just like a me thing. It's a 5 in that you have to dedicate yourself to the time. So if you know that you're like gonna be someone who's like totally not okay with something not looking exactly the way you want it, DIY might not be for you. But you might like DIY something else that you're really good at and feel really passionate and helpful about like how these signs turned out, you know what I mean? So yeah, 5 and 3 averages to something. I don't know. Danielle might put it on the screen for you, but not that hard. Not that hard. All right, so you kind of followed us through this process. You've seen how it turned out. You can roast us in the comments if you want. I feel really good about this. I feel like you deserve a high 5. Like we did it. It can be done. 2 23-year-olds from Oklahoma City with pretty much like just some YouTube videos and somebody willing to let us use their house can DIY wedding flowers. Thanks, Grandma. Shout out to Grandma. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell. We're not YouTube stars, but we can be with your help. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.